Ashes, Sam Billings, 500-mile sprint test debut. Sam Billings looks set to make his test debut in the final match of the Ashes, after driving 500 miles from the Gold Coast to Sydney to answer England's injury problem. First and second choice wicketkeepers Buttler and Jonny Bairstow both sustained blows to the hand during the fourth test, and Ollie Pope was behind the stumps for Australia's second inning. Billings was in Queensland with Big Bash side Sydney Thunder, and he got the emergency call-up only a couple of hours before he was due to fly back to the UK to prepare for England's T20 series against West Indies later this month. The wicketkeeper batsman was urged not to take a 90-minute flight to Sydney as a COVID-19 precaution, and instead had to drive 500 miles south from the Gold Coast to join the Ashes squad. "I thought it was a joke," the 30-year-old told, after making the journey in a rental car. Once he arrived, Billings took to Twitter, remarking, "Just an observation, Australia is a really big place." As well as injuries to Bairstow and Buttler, Ben Stokes' participation in the final test is also in doubt after he injured his side on the first day of the fourth test. He has been for scans, and although he spent the day on the field, he did not bowl and is unlikely to be able to do so in the next match either. Could Stokes play as a specialist batter in Hobart? It's possible, England's batting coach, Graham Thorpe said. But Sam Billings has been called into the group, and that's a good indicator of the injury. Stokes' injury is not a great one with him being an all-rounder. We'll have to see what we do about that situation. But sometimes the adrenaline running through the body while you're out there can assist you. But we have to assess the injury before going into a fresh game. Thorpe called for the batsman to stand up on the final day of this fourth test, with England needing to bat out 98 overs with all 10 wickets in hand in order to avoid a 5-0 whitewash. "We need 2, 3, or 4 of the guys to really stand up, and for a long time," Thorpe said. "We obviously took some blows to the fingers, and I'm sure the lads will take whatever they need to take to make sure they can perform. They will all bat, and they will all do their best. I know that. What I want is to see us play positively and show a good mental approach. Scoring runs is important even when you're playing for a draw." Usman Khawaja says he is expecting to miss out on selection for the fifth test despite scoring centuries in both innings of this one. Khawaja came back into the Australian side after a 2-year absence as cover for Travis Head, who contracted COVID last week, but will be back in contention for selection in Hobart. "At the moment I am quite resigned to the fact that I will probably miss out," Khawaja said. "That's the way talking to George Bailey and the selectors about continuity and having a similar team by the looks of it. I'm not totally against it either. I felt like in my career, a lot of changes were made and I was on the wrong side of them a few times. I'm the first to say, I think there needs to be structure and stability. I know how hard it is for a cricketer with chopping and changing for confidence.